In this video, we're going to talk about graphing quadratic inequalities in two variables. So we have y is less than negative x squared minus 2x minus 1. So as you can see, this is y is less, and there's no line below less. So it's going to be a dotted line. If there was a little line over here, then you know that it's a solid line from Algebra 1. And whenever we graph this parabola, since y is less, we are going to shade below the graph, not above. So concept is very similar to what we learned in Algebra 1. So how can we sketch negative x squared minus 2x minus 1? In order to do that, we need to find a vertex. So since this is a standard form, you know that a is negative 1 and b is negative 2. So how do you find the vertex? Well, h will be negative times negative 2 over 2a. So it's going to be 2 over negative 2, which is negative 1. That's h. What about k? How do we find the value of k? Well, we've got to substitute negative 1 instead of x. We end up getting, be careful over here, this is going to be positive 1, but there's a negative. So negative 1 plus 2 minus 1. So you end up getting 0. So we know that our vertex is going to be negative 1, comma 0. What about the y-intercept? Well, y-intercept happens when x equals 0. When x equals 0, you get negative 1. So we have a y-intercept at 0, comma, negative 1. These two information will help us to sketch the parabola of this. So now we got negative 1, 0, which is going to be our vertex. And the axis of symmetry is x equals negative 1. And the y-intercept is 0, negative 1. So that means there's another point over here. Remember, this is less, not less than or equal to, so it's going to be a dotted line. Now, we need to shade, y is less than, so we need to shade below the parabola. So solution will be right here. So any point in this region will be a solution to this inequality. For example, if it was 1, 1, that would not be a solution. It will make the statement false. Now I'm using Desmos to graph the inequality, and that's the graph we get. Desmos even gives you that nice dotted line. So you might want to use Desmos to graph inequalities. Now, in order to solve this system of quadratic inequalities, you need to find the area or region where they both intersect. So you first need to graph this, and then you graph this inequality. And you need to find the area or region where they overlap. The area they both overlap, that's going to make this statement true for both of these inequalities. Again, if you do it by hand, it's going to take a long time. So I'm going to use Desmos. So I graph both inequalities using Desmos, and so this y less than negative x squared plus 3 represented by the red, and y greater than equal to x squared plus 2x minus 3 is represented by the blue. Notice how the blue has a solid line because you have a little underline, and red has a dotted line. So where do they both overlap? Over here. Any point that is inside this region. So for example, 0, 0 will make both statements true. Also, be careful. Since this is a solid, any point that lies on the solid line. So for example, that looks like 0 and -3 will make both statements true. However, any point that lies on the dotted line, like 0 and, let's see, that looks like 0 and 3. 0 and 3 lies on the dotted line, so it will not make both statements true. So that's how you solve system of quadratic inequalities.